It's Mike Prince. We have on the line with us Coach Eric Dooley, scrimmage number 2, and getting right down to the nitty gritty. Coach, how things shaping up?
It's coming together. Still got a long ways to go. Some things we need to work on as a whole, but I like what I see and I like the direction that we're headed in.
Yes, sir. Now, of course, the line has been the big question mark. Have you seen any improvement between this week and last week as far as live action goes with the lines up front?
Well, yeah, I think we're getting better. We're trying to get that group that can play together, have the most continuity that works well together. Of course, we want to formulate more than one group. So I think the guys are working hard, and I think it's all coming together. Of course, we got some missing pieces, some puzzles we got to fill, pieces of the puzzle we need to fill in the fall, but the adjustment that we made this spring, I like what I see.
Okay, now, Coach, of course, some of your transfers that will be coming in, and even some of the freshmen that'll be a part of the program. How do you gel these guys together between what you have now and what you pieces that you'll add in the fall?
Well, when we evaluate, we get guys that we feel that's going to fit into the scheme that we're running. So I feel real confident and comfortable with the guys that we're bringing in. And the good part about it, those guys will be here all summer, so they get a chance to break the ice and fit in and the things that they need to learn to come together as one.
Okay. Now, in most cases, it's always about reloading and fine-tuning. And are you doing that with the playbook on the offensive side in particular, where you are, adding probably a couple of more wrinkles now that they're familiar with the verbiage that are being used, some of the skills and schemes that you try to get across to the other players? Or are you just kind of regurgitating what they've already learned and stand still on that matter?
Well, I like to use the term. I think we're just fine-tuning it right now. I think we had a lot of pieces that was coming back. We didn't lose a whole lot. So I didn't think that we just had to fill some spots to build more depth on our football team. So right now we're fine-tuning and getting those things to work together as one.
Okay. Now, as far as your key players, everybody's healthy and no one who are possibly on the bubble, because this is a time where grades and everything come up front. And are there any caution flags at this time?
No, I won't say there's any caution flags because we're students first, then we're students, then we're athletes. So we emphasize the word student first, so we're making sure that they're taking care of the academic side of it, and then, of course, football comes second.
Absolutely. We're speaking with Coach Eric Dooley. Panthers get their second scrimmage underneath their belt. And, Coach, this was something I've been wanting to ask you. You talk about how Prairie View is a wonderful place to be, and I believe that myself, but I kind of got to believe that because I'm an alumni. But I was wanting to ask you, what is it that makes Prairie View different from other places that you've been?
Well, I tell you what, the whole campus itself, not just when you talk about what I came here for football, not only are the football facilities are nice, but the whole campus is nice. And then you talk about the vision of the president. When you know the vision and you understand what the president is looking forward for, I think he can't see nothing but great things coming out of Prairie View. But, just like I've been saying all along, what makes it a perfect place for me, because this was God ordered me to come. So I'm just going by the order of the steps of the God. So, of course, everything is going to be okay.
Absolutely. And speaking of everything being okay, we're going to step back, I guess, almost 10 months now, well, maybe 8, 9 months, when the AD that brings you over and they end up relocating. What goes to your mind at that point, or is it like, I can't worry about that, I got to keep my head down and keep moving?
Well, he brought me here, and he brought me here to take care of a job, and I understand he got to do what's best for him and his family. And I did what was best for me and my family, so I got to move forward. I can't look in that rearview mirror because you can't move forward looking in the rearview mirror.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I guess that's part of the mental toughness, whether coaching or playing, that's needed to be successful on this level.
Yeah, we understand in this profession things are going to happen like that. It's of course, we are trying to build quality young men, but the big picture of it, it's a business. So, guys are going to do certain things. People are going to leave. People are going to come and go. So you got to understand that and make those adjustments. You got to be able to make in-game adjustments in everything that you do, whether it's a football game, whether it's in the office, or whatever it may be. You just got to make those adjustments and continue to move forward.
Well, continue to move forward is definitely the goal at hand. Panthers went 5-6 under the inaugural season of Coach Eric Dooley, and now they're, as I say, they're bumping it up, Coach. They're bumping it up, and I know you're in agreement with that bump up. What are the key factors for a continued successful spring that's going to lead and carry over to the fall?
I'll say this: 5-6 is definitely unacceptable. It's definitely unacceptable. So we kind of evaluated the whole season when the season ended, and we know some of the things we needed to work on. The very first thing I knew we needed to work on, we had to build some more depth for our football team. So we went out and got some athletes that we thought can come in and not only build depth, but come in and play as well. And then secondly, I thought, a lot of coaches call it the red zone. When I talk about offense, I call it the green zone. I thought we have to be able to run the football in the green zone as well. So we're working on those things right there. And then most of all, that every coach likes to say that becomes an old cliche now, you got to be able to stop the run as well. So those are things that we're trying to do within this spring and come out successful.
Okay. Now, Coach, I'm old school like you, but you got this new school wrinkle because you're the offensive guy that spreads everything out. Has the lineup and just ground and pound, has that faded away from football as we know it right now? Just straight up line and put the big guys in there and grind it inside the 5 or even 10-yard line?
No, I don't think it's faded away. It's just not a huge part of the game today. At some part of the game, you want to have to use that, and we do understand that, so we make sure we have that type of personnel within our football team where those guys can kind of do both. More or less now having that fullback, we have an H-back that could do multiple things. So it's there, but it's just not a huge percentage of it. But it's probably never going to fade away because that's the ground basis of football.
Okay, and my thing, and I know that everybody is about keeping up with everybody else around you or you get left behind. But I always thought this, and maybe you can help bring some clarity for me at least. A defense is like pure gold. And you got to have a defense that can help. But I always thought one of the best ways to slow down a high-powered, fast-paced offense is a ball-controlling, time-consuming offense that keeps your defense fresh and kind of puts a little pressure on the opposite offense. Is there any truth to that?
Well, everybody has different philosophies. And I like to say, if you can, because I'm not going to slow down. You can't slow down a person that's ready to run. You got to unleash and let them go, and that's what we put in our stable, guys that's ready to go. So it's kind of tough to say that. You just got to have a good defense. You got to have a great defense, and understand you got to have a defense that takes away the football, that gives the offense the football, that allow them an opportunity to put up points. I mean, it goes hands in hand. Just depending on your philosophy, what you believe in, and what you want to accomplish.
Right. Now, another key point you just hit was turnovers, and that's something that can be created, especially with these RPOs on the offensive side nowadays, and something that the good teams will capitalize and create, especially in that second half of a game. And what can, if anything, be done to increase that from the defensive side?
Well, now you just got to really play assignment sound football. You got to play assignment sound football. It goes back. It ain't nothing in my own mind when I look at it. When you start out with the option football, it's just the option football now spread it out wide instead of concise into one little bunch where everybody's together. Now you just spread it out. So it's the same type of football. You just got to be assignment sound and make sure you carry out your assignments and be where you're supposed to be.
And another D word that goes with defense is discipline. Guys stand at home knowing their assignments and not trying to be a Superman and take over someone else's lane.
Absolutely. Just do your responsibility and the rest will take care of itself.
But that's easier said than done, huh, Coach?
Oh no, that's why you call me Coach. You got to coach them up to make sure they do exactly what's supposed to be done.
Yes, sir. We're talking with Coach Eric Dooley. Coach, this is my last question. It's been rants and raves about the pro day that was held on the campus a couple of weeks ago, how everything was put together nice, organized, NFL organizations talking about how professional everything was. What all it takes to get a pro day together, and who helped you make sure that all the pieces were in the right places?
But, I never think one person can take the credit for doing all the things. That's why you got to put people, you got to manage things and put people in the right place to do their responsibility, and they all come together as one. It's called being a team. We want the players to be a team, so as coaches, we got to be a team and put this thing together to make sure that our players get the right opportunity to do the things that they've been waiting on for probably all their life. So, I thought we put our heads together. We had everything to run the way that we wanted to go, and I hats off go to both Coach Leonard, Leonard McDowell and Coach Antoine Leonard, our strength coach. They're the head of that department. They made sure everybody did what they were supposed to do, and I think it went well, and we had an exciting pro day. I'm very pleased the way the guys came out and competed, and the way they cheered each other on. It just shows the growth of, you're talking about when I first arrived here, and not saying that it was in another area, but just the growth of some of those young men and how they have arrived and understand professionalism.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, Coach, believe it or not, there are people, they hear the terminology pro day and might not quite understand what's all involved in pro day. In a little nutshell, could you summarize what pro day is and what it is? I know it's a great opportunity, but in a little coaching technology detail, explain to our listeners what the pro day is all about.
And I know it's going to be short because I like to be short and sweet. You know what it is? It's a physical interview, straight physical interview. Just as you would have that resume put together to go in for that Fortune 500 job, that's the way you got to put that resume together to go take care of your body, make sure you're doing the things you're supposed to do, and go interview yourself. You had an interview. You only interview every day of your life. But now here's the interview that's going to get you to the next step.
Absolutely, absolutely. Very well said. As you say, short and sweet, just the way we like it. It seems like the older you get, the more simplified life becomes, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess that wing get a little shorter, so you don't want to say a lot of
words. All right, Coach. Look, we want to thank you again for chiming in on us this week. We're going to give you some closing thoughts and comments, and we'll fade out into the sunset.
Yeah, spring is winding down. We're getting closer to that purple and gold game. We like to call it Purple Haze Day. It's going to be Purple Haze Day, April the 18th at 6 o'clock in the stadium. We look forward for all the fans to come out and enjoy themselves and see the type of team that we're going to display coming this fall.
There'll be a time to re-up on your season tickets and even increase on your season tickets if so be desired. Well, Coach, as always, we want to thank you so much for making yourself available. I am the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince, and this is our beloved The Ghost. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and
the Holy Ghost.
Coach Eric Dooley, you guys be blessed, and we'll see you on the other side.